It is insanely hard once you're well into a relationship with a masculine woman to make her more feminine.
Oh, yeah. The world has basically taught women the wrong things and has made women this way.
If you ask what a woman brings to the table, you are not that man.
Right, exactly.
You're not.
Yeah.
And there were a few people who said, I don't ask that question. It's a wrong mindset. That's
Right.
1,000% right. The issue, too, that these men who ask this question have is that from the very beginning, they're asking this question. It's typically in the first few dates that they ask this question.
People really ask this question?
They really ask this question.
Wow. Have you been
Not
asking?
a lot. Not a lot, because I don't know. Maybe I swerved enough of
Have
the
you
people
been asked this question on a date?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Not very often, but
Wow.
yeah. And
I didn't know that
obviously,
people-
I never talked to them again. But
I thought they just asked it on podcasts. I can't believe people actually ask this in real
no,
life.
I think too they're not maybe as angry as the people online who say it.
Yeah.
And they're being like joking, but at the same time, if you ask this question, that's the last date that anybody should go on with you. Because the thing is too that you're making a woman masculine, like I said, by asking this question.
Right.
And go watch our episode on this, but it is insanely hard once you're well into a relationship with a masculine woman to make her more feminine.
Oh, yeah.
It is so hard. And so instead of asking, what do you bring to the table, and trying to act like, comparing what all these things on the first few dates, you should be acting like a gentleman, and you should be watching our podcast and watching your, YouTube channel and things like that, and learning how to be a man that provides and protects the feminine and values the feminine. Because from the very beginning, you'll have a feminine woman. And that's how it has to be to have the best chance of making it long term.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't know if this goes with this, but we were talking about it the other night, because you were saying that initially a man can't turn a woman more feminine, or, she, he only has so much influence or whatnot.
Well, I was talking about how the world has basically taught women the wrong things and has made women this way,
Right.
in a negative way. And what, like, someone had commented on one of our videos on that, and yeah, at first I was saying, yeah, if it's what women have become. It's not women's fault, but it is, man has created this influence of the world that we live in, and that has created the things that we don't like.
Right. But my rebuttal to that was book talk, ladies. I'm talking to you. If one of those men came out of your book and came up to you, you'd be feminine real fast. Yeah. And you'd be leaving whoever it was you're with. You would do whatever that man told you to do, because he is a man.
Right.
They write these books about men who are masculine and present masculine, and they will protect and provide and do all these things. But for her, he is soft and he cares about her.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying this because, again, men, if you ask what a woman brings to the table, you are not that man.
Right. Exactly.
You're not.
Yeah.
And there were a few people who said, I don't ask that question. It's a wrong mindset. That's 1,000% right.
Right.
Because if you're asking a woman, what do you bring to the table? You're going to get a masculine woman.
Right. Exactly.
No matter if she shows up feminine.
Right.
You're going to convince her that now she needs to be more masculine, because she needs to bring something to the table.
Right.
She needs to provide you with these physical things that you're asking for, money or whatever that you want her to bring to the table. But like you said, they don't even know what they want. So instead, if you come as a gentleman who's manly, but has that soft side of him that values the feminine and how beautiful it is, like you said, like it's a work of art. And just because it is what makes it beautiful, then you will get a feminine woman more often. Or you could turn a very masculine feminist woman into a more feminine woman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because, like, I was talking to you about this too the other day when I was going for a walk. I was like, John didn't really do anything to like put me more in my feminine. He just was so masculine that I trusted him. I trusted that he was the man that he was coming across as. And, you know, he could handle stuff. Like I could see how tough he was and like who you were as a man. I could tell, not by just what you said, but how you acted. And so naturally it was like a switch flipped.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I'm like safe and I can be girly and like feminine and, you know, all of these things. So it wasn't like something that I even had to think about. And I think for a lot of women that same thing could happen to them. But to the point of where women are now, and even me, it took a really masculine man like you to instantly flip that switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so instead of men watching clips on what do women bring to the table, they should be watching your stuff or similar things about being a man and taking pride in being a man and valuing women. And I understand that there are women out there who do things that are messed up. Just like as a woman, I understand there are men out there who do things that are messed up. Right. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to treat everybody like that. And that doesn't mean that you should either. Because if you genuinely believe that all women are bad, that's all you will see. Even a good woman that you went on a date with, you will see something bad in her if you have that mindset. And so many men have that mindset. And it might not seem like it, but asking what do you bring to the table is that mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I've said it before on the podcast. I say it all the time when I'm coaching guys. And we've talked about it, especially with the passport bro thing about Western women and they're trying to go somewhere else. It's like, look, you don't have to look elsewhere because if you're a man and you're a masculine man, just like you said, like a guy from the romance novel, then even feminist women, they will be attracted to you and they will change their entire belief system to be with you. It really does happen because and again, it's not, you got to think about it this way. It's like you have to treat. I tell guys all the time. I'm like, look, if you're talking to a feminist woman and whatever, and she's spewing all this stuff, or she's like, "Don't open the door for me," or whatever, just be like, you don't have to say these words, but in your head, be like, "Oh, that's cute. Isn't she so cute? Look at her." You know, like, you know, darling, whatever. If you've seen this, you haven't seen Star Wars, but Han Solo in Star Wars, Princess Leia is this, she's actually a pretty businesswoman. She's the daughter of, you know, she's like the princess of Avalon or whatever. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, so she's like royalty in her planet. And Han Solo is this smuggler, rebel type of guy. And they end up, you know, crossing paths, and he ends up having to, you know, help her out and take care of her. And she's being all princessy and trying to command him and order him around, and, you know, which is very masculine, right? And he's just like, he's not even for a minute fazed by it. He's just like, oh, okay, princess, darling, sweetheart, whatever he called, you know, he's like, all right, yeah, you know, yeah, you could take care of yourself, right? And he's just like, he's just playful about it. He's not trying to argue with her and be like, I'm the man. So, you know,
so do what I say.
He's just acting like the man. He's just treating her, you know, for lack of a better term, like a child, right? You know, and again, I'm careful when I say that because it gets interpreted wrong, but it doesn't mean less intelligent. It doesn't mean less capable. It just means that that's how you as a man need to act as the patriarch, as the father figure, or with all the people that you interact with, because you're the man, because you take pride in doing that. But anyway, the point is that you treat that as if it's not a big deal. It's not you don't argue it. If you sit there and argue with a feminist and try to explain to her why she's wrong and why traditional masculinity and femininity, you're just going to get nowhere. And you're going to seem like your position isn't very strong, because why are you going into her frame? Why are you arguing the thing that she believes? Your frame, your belief in it, your masculinity should be so strong that you just ignore it. Like it's just some cute thing that she's saying. Like she doesn't know what she's talking about and it's cute. Right? Again, you don't need to say those words. That's probably not going to go over well. Right. But act that way and just go on. Open the door. just keep on doing the things that you do as a masculine man. And she's going to, just like Princess Leia does in Star Wars, she's going to come around to it and then be more attracted to you and see, oh, wow, this guy, he doesn't care. He doesn't care that I think all these things or that I think I'm just as strong as him. He just continues to treat me like a delicate flower despite that. And then pretty soon she's going to start acting like that delicate flower.
But do you know why? I think I know why.
Tell me why.
So obviously feminist women, right? They're like, we can do whatever men can do. And, you know, we don't need a man and things like that. You know, well, they'll say that feminists and feminism is about allowing a woman to have a choice what she wants to do, right? But a lot of the extreme is like hating men and things like that. And so if you do come across a feminist woman and you're a very masculine man, the reason that you can change her over is because deep down, us women, we want to live a soft life. We want to be in our feminine. We want to enjoy the things that are a part of our nature, right? But we've gotten lost along the way and had to be very masculine and high stress and things like that we don't do well with. Like, our bodies are not made to be working 9 to 5.
Right.
They are not, we cannot handle stress the same way that men can handle stress. But we have lived in this world that we've created of doing all these things despite our bodies not really being properly made to do those things as often as we're doing them, right? And I'm not saying that women can't work, and I'm not saying we can't handle stress or any of those things, but you know, we're not made like men. And so when a woman comes across a very masculine man who can handle all these things, she is probably going to test him a little bit. Yeah. You know, like you said, she's probably going to say some stuff, and she's probably going to act like, oh, you don't need to do this for me, or don't do it for me, and try to act like whatever. But if, like you said, you come from the masculine frame that you have and you don't let anyone else like deter you from that. And I get that that's what you're saying, is that like you have to be so confident in who you are as a man that you're not going to allow anybody to cause you to not act like a gentleman. Right. And so the more you do that, the more you're actually showing her that you are reliable and trustworthy, and you do what you say you're going to do, and you actually are the man that you say you are. And so eventually she feels like she can let all of that go. She doesn't have to be working all the time and stressing herself out. Yeah. She doesn't have to be, oh, well, I got to fight all my battles, because now she has somebody that's proved himself that he can do that, and he will do that, and he'll do that for her. Right. And now she can switch over into this more feminine side of herself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, you know, it is possible. Yeah. And I think women are more able to change into that if there are more men who are willing to be men. Better than